Hi, I'm Rick Fox of the Boston Celtics. When I'm in Chapel Hill, I watch student television. And I even let them cut my hair, too.
Man?
Hey, Peach, how's it going?
Doing okay. How are you doing?
Good. My gosh, how are you feeling?
You know, all right, I guess. I mean, that appendicitis came on so quick. I'm pretty sore now still, and I'm probably gonna be laid up for a few days. But I guess it was a good thing that it happened so fast, you know.
Well, I couldn't believe when I heard that. I mean, I had no idea. It just suddenly happened. Are you okay though?
No, I'm doing really good. Yeah, I'm psyched about getting back to the show. And doing
So you'll be able to do a show this week then?
Yeah. But listen, I wanted to talk to you about one thing.
Sure.
You know the pylon that we were planning to do at the beginning of every show, have everybody jump on top of me? Well, I mean, it's a great idea and all, but you know, I'd hate to break with tradition so early, but I don't feel like, you know, I'm in any shape to be pylon right now. I mean, I'm really sore. I think this. Is there any way we could, you know, not do it right now? Maybe put it off till second semester. I mean, it's only the second show. We can do it maybe later on.
Yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, your health and well-being is very important. Hey guys, how's it going?
How's everybody doing?
Wow.
Hey, thanks for stopping by. Listen, I was just talking to Frank about the show, and is it possible that, you know, we didn't do the pylon? You know, because I'm really kind of hurting you guys. I mean,
well, Beach, as long as you're lying in that bed there, we won't pile on you, okay?
As long as I'm in this bed. Hey, come on in. Oh.
Hey, Beach.
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
What's up?
Looking great. Hey, hi. Thanks, man. I appreciate that so much. You guys are great. I love you guys.
Hey, Beach, want to get up and go play some basketball?
No, I don't think I can play basketball right now. You know, but thanks for offering that. I'll maybe have my jump shot back next week.
All right. You need anything at all you need?
No, I'm
Nothing at all?
Oh, no, I'm doing good. Thanks.
All right.
Guys. Thanks.
Rock on.
Anybody want to eat dinner?
Yeah.
Let's go get something to eat.
Okay, guys. You know, thanks for stopping by.
We'll
Have a hot turkey sandwich for me. Hey.
Thank you. All right, Beach, I'll see you down the ski. Are you sure you can do the show this week?
Yeah, Frank.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
great.
what? Why'd you have to say that about the bed?
No, wait. I got an idea, guys. I got an idea. Come here.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Hi, welcome to Limelight. My name is BJ Owens. I'm the host. We're real glad you could be with us tonight. We've got a storyteller as our guest. His name is Dave Gulick. He's from Carborough. He's going to come out later. He's going to tell us a story, and he also brought a friend along, a bird named PJ. So we'll get a chance to meet Dave and PJ. But first, we have a very special segment for you. Our friend Will, who is a writer for the show, is going to attempt something that's never been done before. We're going to take Will, we're going to blindfold him, and we're going to walk him into the very bowels of Venable Hall. And then we're going to take off the blindfold and let him loose and see if he can get out in the span of one show. So let's go to Frank right now, our producer, who's standing by at Venable with Will.
Thank you, BJ. These are the times that try men's souls. Thomas Paine once said that during the Revolutionary era, but I'm sure if he were still alive today, he would say the same thing about our historical challenge. Will Gorell, one of our writers, will be led into the deepest and darkest heart of Venable, blindfolded, and to see if he could find his way out. A challenge so great has never been tried before. We're going to try to get a word with Will before he goes in. Will, how are you feeling right now?
Pretty good. I'm a little bit nervous.
Yeah? Now, what preparation have you had for this?
I've taken a lot of chemistry courses, been in Venable a whole lot.
Or do you feel confident, or what do you think your chances are?
I give myself about 50-50 chances.
Yeah. You're a brave man. Congratulations and good luck to you.
Thank you.
And does anybody you want to say hello to?
I'd like to say hello to my mother. I love her very much.
All right. Good luck, Will. We're all very proud of you. Now we're going to work with Mark Janak. Mark will be leading Will into the heart of Venable. Mark, how are you?
Pretty good.
Now, so I understand you had about 6 weeks training on the layout of Venable. Is that right?
No, that's incorrect. I had 6 months training.
6 months?
Yes.
Wow. So you know Venable Hall pretty well by now?
Oh, yes, and I have a map they gave me, so I'm just going to lead them in and then get out the side door.
All right. Godspeed to both of you. As you can see, emotions are high. Let's go now to our cameras inside and watch Will as he's being led down to the heart of Venable.
get yourself some cheap sunglasses. Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah!
Well, it looks like Will's off to a pretty good start. We'll check in on him periodically throughout the half hour and see how he's doing. And now let's welcome Dave Gulick, who's going to tell us a story.
Well, I'd like to share with you one of my favorite birds, and I'd like to share a story with you, but I'd like to bring out the bird first. This is probably one of the most popular birds in North Carolina, and it's a bird that has been close to me for the last 10 years. I'd like to introduce my friend. This is PJ. PJ standing for Pippy Jr., a bob white quail. You gonna say anything, PJ? I'm gonna kind of quiet, huh? Kind of late at night. Well, quail is one of those wonderful birds that is right around North Carolina. There's actually fewer now than there used to be. There you go. He's just kind of winding up right now. Kind of saying hello, how you doing, in quail talk. Quails are amazing birds. They have like 40 different sounds, each one meaning something different. One of the sounds, of course, he's famous for is a nickname he has, which is Bob White. And he'll whistle his name, which is one of their most distinctive calls. And quails, being the charming kind of birds that they are, also give away whether they're male or female. If you look at a quail and you see any white on it, then you've got yourself a bob, a boy. The girls come the same size, just about, same colors, but they are lacking the white part. So it's kind of a fascinating way to tell them apart. One of the things about a quail, and I like to share, is about its history. It's had a history that, of course, goes way back before white settlers ever arrived. But since North Carolina is kind of famous for quails, I'd like to share with you that this bird right here, this little fella here, is the reason for major railroads from Washington, D.C. being built all the way down to North Carolina. Quail hunting. Quail has always been known a bird for hunting because it's a bird that doesn't really fly very much. He's a walking kind of bird. He kind of uses his feet more than he does his wings. And as a result, you know, he's been a bird that's people have gone hunting for. So what I'd like to start with is a little bit of a story that goes back even before the railroads brought people down to see quail. I'd like to share with you a story about how the Cherokee Indians, who were native people of North Carolina, and how indeed they saw the quail, and how it also was a part of their hunting ritual. We use guns today, and a lot of people still hunt quail. The Cherokee used the blowgun, something they had to get kind of close to it with. And one of the things that's interesting was how they had to program their hunters to be okay with hunting the quail, you know, feel comfortable. So they would share this story, and I think the story is one which let the Cherokee youngster, as he heard it, feel a little bit different about a quail than maybe another bird. So this is a story about how the quail got his whistle. And it goes like this. In the beginning, the turtle had a great whistle, and the quail had none. But every time he heard that turtle whistling, he thought to himself, wow, would I ever like to have a whistle just like that one? So being a persistent kind of bird, he would follow that turtle, and every chance he'd get, he'd say to that turtle, hey, could I borrow that whistle? Could I just borrow it and try it just once? But the turtle, he was a little bit nervous about lending his whistle and didn't quite trust the quail. However, the quail was real persistent, and every day he was back, and every day he'd say, hey, can't you just let me borrow it just once? Let me just try it. I'll stay right here. Till finally, the turtle agreed. And the turtle lent him his whistle. But the quail couldn't wait. He tried it right out, and the first sound he had was quite beautiful. Boy, just rang right out. And he looked at that turtle and he said, "Hey, how'd I do? How'd I do? Do you like that whistle?" Well, the turtle had to agree. It was a good sound. So then the quail did it again. "Hey, how am I doing, turtle? Am I doing pretty good? Huh? First time, first time." And sure enough, the turtle had to agree. But then, by golly, the quail started walking. He just kind of walked a little bit, and he'd whistle too when he walked. "How am I doing, turtle? Am I doing good?" And of course, the turtle had to agree. But then, sure enough, the quail started to run. Now, turtle didn't like that at all because he wasn't very fast. And not only did he run, but soon he started flying and went right up into a tree. And there he stayed. And the quail had a whistle, and the turtle had none. And so the Cherokee would share the story, not only because it was kind of humorous, but also because they saw the quail as a liar. He kind of broke his promise. He was just going to try out that whistle and stand right there by that turtle. But he didn't. He broke his promise, and he took that, never gave it back to the turtle. As a result, they didn't feel too bad about hunting that quail. And so that's my feeling about how, indeed, the Cherokee came to terms with hunting quail.
Time keeps on slipping, slipping, slipping into the future. I wanna fly like an eagle to the sea. Fly like an eagle, let my spirit carry me. I want to fly like an eagle.
When I'm in Chapel Hill, I listen to student television. Great.
Thanks, Michael. Appreciate it.
Normally I get $15,000 for that. No, I'm kidding.
It had to be you. It had to be you. I wandered around and finally found the somebody who.
Well, looks like Will is making some progress there. We'll go back to him in just a few minutes to check on him. First, we're going to have our special guest here tonight, Mr. Gulig, who we just saw do a story for us. He's going to have an interview with us. So, let's welcome Dave Gulig. Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
Well, thank you very much for that story. And this is PJ.
Yep, this is PJ.
And when you said, what did you say it stood for?
PJ stands for Pippi Jr. In the line of Pippi. Pippi was the first quail I had and lived 10 years. Quail normally lives 2 years. And I think Pippi was the oldest quail in America until this last winter when he finally passed away.
How old was that?
He was 10 years old.
Wow.
And PJ right now is 2. So he's getting pretty old for quail.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have a new one at home whose name is October. Got him just this last October.
Mm-hmm.
So a friend, quails are real social, And it's always nice to have like at least 2 of them because they're such a social bird, they need companionship. So as soon as October gets old enough, big enough, I'll bring her out, or him out, with unknown sex until they're 3 months old. And then PJ will have a friend.
Now, are quails a common theme in your, you seem to talk a lot about quails. I guess you enjoy talking about them. Is that a really common theme that you like to get back to a lot?
Yeah, quail is a real interesting bird. You know, he's a real songster. He's in a lot of history. There's a lot of history around him. Fits in well with North Carolina. It made North Carolina famous. I think I mentioned before the story about how the congressmen, senators of the United States government loved to hunt. And on their breaks, they always wanted to find a place to hunt. And they heard about quail in North Carolina. And one of the things they did was they actually built 2 railroads right into Greensboro and that area just so they could bring congressmen down on the weekends to hunt quail in North Carolina.
Well, how long ago was that?
It was probably around Teddy Roosevelt time, you know, and when a man was a hunting man, you know, and so a lot of the congressmen love to go and do that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a fun bird, and one of the things I like about quail is that it's small, it's real vocal, and it has a wonderful ability to, because it's social, to imprint with you. So if you get a quail when it's very young, like 10 days or less, and raise it yourself, so you're its parents basically, it'll just take right to you. Pippi was our first one, and we raised Pippi, and within, I'd say, 5 hours, he was running back and forth between the kids and me and my wife. And the very first night, as a matter of fact, we had this box that was a regular cardboard size box. He was about this tall at the time, 7 days old. And we had a heating pad underneath it to keep him warm, and had water and food, and said goodnight to him, so to speak, and turned off all the lights, went down the hallway to our bedroom, and went in, and we were just talking about how cute this bird was. Wasn't it a neat bird, you know, and we were so excited about it. And all of a sudden we heard this little peep, 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 peep. And I go, gosh, it sounds like he's right outside our door, Donna. And she'd say, yeah, it does sound like that. I opened the door, and there's this little quail, that big. He had jumped out of the whole box, came down the hallway, and was right outside the door saying, you know, hey, you know, don't I sleep here too? So I picked him back up and put him back in, and realized you had to put a top on him. Even at that young age, they can hop real well, but they're real social, real fun bird.
Okay, well, we'll come back in just a second with Dave Gulick, and let's check in on Will one more time here, see how he's doing. Hi, welcome back. We're talking with Dave Gulick, storyteller. I was wondering how exactly did you get into the business of storytelling? What kind of set you on to that?
Yeah, I was a teacher, elementary school. Did a lot of stories, just sharing with kids after lunch or something, and got into doing it professionally by leaving teaching and then going into puppetry, where I would tell stories and my partner would be the puppeteer. That's primarily how it happened.
Mm-hmm. And what do you do now? What's your primary audience? Who do you get to tell stories to?
Mostly elementary schools. Love families, love a nice setting with mom, dad, kids. That's my favorite setting. But do schools, clubs, fairs, military bases, arts councils, the whole range, but probably mostly elementary school.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned a new show that you're working on. What does a typical show that you do entail? Someone comes to see you to do a show, what will they see?
Sure. Wings of Fire, that's the new show I'm going to be doing. Has live birds, has PJ in it. Maybe I could bring PJ out here just to give you an idea. Here you go, my friend. PJ isn't the star in this show. The new show is about an endangered species. It's about the red cockaded woodpecker. And what I try to do is paint how this bird is endangered and some of its friends. As it works out, PJ is indeed one of his good friends, since he's a bird that people respond to, like, hunt a lot, and there's hunting preserves. They try to take care of this bird, and one of the ways they discovered best was by having what they call a fire regimen, fire where they actually burn the forest on a regular basis. Doesn't get too hot, doesn't kill the trees, but it brings more plant growth, more insect populations, more quail, and also makes it easier to hunt. So as a result of this bird right here, he's allowed red cockaded woodpecker to have that same habitat which it needs in order to survive.
Now, we were talking to the bird earlier. Can we try to do that a little bit?
Yeah.
Let's hear some of the calls.
Well, PJ's famous call, which he won't be able to do now, quail call is a bob white. That's a only the males give it, and if you were to check what that means, it sort of is a statement of, will you marry me, in quail language. It's not given in the winter because it's too cold to get married. So it's a summer call. He won't be able to do it right now. But come springtime, I'm sure he'd give you a hearty one.
Well, I hope it doesn't give me a hearty one. But anyway, thank you very much for coming on the show. It was great to meet you. And
appreciate it.
Thank you very much, PJ. Let's check in one more time on Will and see how he's doing over in Venable.
All right, let's see if we can get a word with Will. Will, come here. Can we have a word with you?
Sure.
Will.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
Tired.
Yeah. What was it like inside Venable?
It was hot, and it's very, very confusing.
Did you think you would make it?
Some points no, but it was difficult at times.
All right. Well, good job, Will. Congratulations.
Thanks.
And take it on home, guys.
Hey, what about Gig?
I think he had that map, so he's probably already gone. We should head him back.
Yeah, side exit, something.
All right, this concludes our historic event. I hope you enjoyed watching it. Back to you, BJ.
Where the hell am I?
Well, congratulations to Will. We're real proud of you, buddy. I'm glad you got out of that okay. But that pretty much wraps up the show for tonight. I hope that you'll join us next week for another great show. I'd like to thank Dave Gulick and his friend PJ, the bird, for coming on the show. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
Remember, you can't spell Lost in Venable without STV.
In a place